Okay.
What was it that killed Ogre? If it wasn't from Genocide Jill's attack, then what was it?
Let's have a quick look at the stuff. So, Hina's account, yellow powder, and Monokuma file.
Think of anything other than the shot to her head.
Okie dokie. So, Monokuma file says, the victim is Sakura Ogami. The time of death is estimated to be around 12 noon. The body was discovered in the rec room on the first floor of the school. There is evidence of a strong blow to the victim's head. No other injuries were noted, however, it seems that at some point the victim suffered from violent vomiting of blood, so it's not that. The second one is Hina's account. Sakura had written notes to Toko, Byakuya and Yasuhiro, asking them to meet her in the rec room by noon. She had slid these notes under each person's room door. That's not it either. So it's got to be the yellow powder.
So you're dead set on blaming me, huh?
If the one person might find a clue, it would have to be written in there. It would be Sakura's foot, wouldn't it?
If it wasn't from Genocide Jill's
It's not that one.
what was it?
There's no other pop that killed Sakura. I can't think of anything other than
It's
the
not
shot
that
to her
either.
head. So you're dead set on blaming me, huh?
Oh wait, hold on, maybe it is that one. There's only two, isn't there? 2 seconds.
What was it if it wasn't from Genocide Jill's attack?
Not that.
What was it?
There's no other possible cause what killed Sakura. I can't think of anything other than the shot to her head.
Shoot!
Oh, is it the first one then? It can't be the first one, right?
What was it that killed
Yellow powder, Hina's account, and
Wasn't
Monokuma
from
file.
Genocide Jill's attack? And what was it?
There's no other possible cause what killed Sakura. I can't think of anything other than the shot to her
Well, it's
head.
not that.
So you're dead set on blaming me, huh?
I already read it out.
What was it that...
Oh, so maybe it is the Monokuma file. Oh, yeah, it is the Monokuma file. Oh my god, that was...
Yellow powder was on the floor, it's got nothing to do with...
Yeah, ignore me, I was being dumb.
If it wasn't from Genocide Jill's attack, then what was it?
There's no other pop that killed Sakura. I can't think of anything other than the...
There we go.
What's wrong?
I got there eventually. Thanks, guys.
According to the Monokuma file, Sakura had vomited blood.
Mm-hmm.
I think we can assume there's a chance this was related to her cause of death.
Yeah.
In fact, there was even a trace of blood left around her mouth.
I know, I'm ashamed, Loam, but thank you for the berries. I know, that's a Yasuhiro moment. He's making me dumb. I'm not good at this, I'm not gonna lie.
Well, I mean... Maybe
That's why I'm playing on easy and it's still hard.
she cut the inside of her mouth.
No, I don't think so.
That's all it was. The file wouldn't have specified vomited blood. Not to mention, I didn't find any cuts inside her mouth.
I'm blaming Hero and that's it.
You even checked in there? God, you really are into dead bodies!
No, I'm not into dead bodies. What I'm into is solving mysteries.
But if there wasn't a cut or anything, then what made her vomit blood?
Some sort of reaction within her body. Most likely, Sakura was poisoned.
Poisoned?
That's right. This is the conclusion I've arrived at, and so there can be no mistake.
You're making me go all weak in the knees!
Ew.
She was poisoned? It isn't possible!
Is it really so hard to believe? Then let me explain exactly how the culprit was able to poison her.
Well, she drinks that protein coffee every day, doesn't she? So someone could have slipped it in there.
Explain it?
Of course, if you don't mind.
Everyone quiet! Shut up and listen to Master!
But
Okay.
you're the only one talking.
The key to unlocking this mystery was hiding in the chem lab up on the 4th floor.
Sing it, Byakuya.
Huh? Not in the rec room? Then I could have found it all along.
You never would have, since you gave up on the search the moment you were barred from the crime scene.
Useless to the end.
Well, yeah, good point.
There's a big shelving unit in the chem lab that houses a variety of mixtures and chemicals. And that's where I found this.
Is that the poison?
It's not an especially powerful poison, but it'll still kill you if you drink an entire bottle. But the specific properties don't matter. What does matter is where I found it.
Where'd you find it?
The shelf is divided up into 3 sections, A, B, and C. In Section A, dietary supplements. In B, reagents. And in C, a variety of lethal chemicals.
And that's where the poison came from? Section C?
Obviously.
Well, that's the question, isn't it?
The bottle of poison Byakuya just showed us. I'm sure I know where he got it. It was on the same shelf as all the supplements I'm supposed to. Oh, that's right. There was a bottle of poison on the protein on the supplement shelf, wasn't there?
I got it! The poison was actually in Section A, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Huh? You just said that Section A was for supplements or whatever.
Strange, isn't it? Why would there be a bottle of poison mixed in with all those nutritional additives?
Mm-hmm. Why indeed?
Yeah, so? Why?
Because the culprit switched it out. That's why.
What do you mean?
I mean, this.
I couldn't believe my eyes. Byakuya put the bottle of poison to his lips and
Master!
we were so shocked at what we were seeing, all we could do is stand there and watch. But as if it were the most natural thing in the world, Byakuya was as calm as ever.
Oh, that tastes awful.
Oh no! Master's in real trouble! You have to drink some water! You can't just swallow powder! It'll stick to your throat!
Idiot! He just swallowed poison! We need to make him spit it out!
The flavor certainly makes me want to spit it out. What's so high quality about this stuff?
Huh? What are you talking about?
I'm talking about the protein, of course.
Protein?
Can I see that bottle for a second?
Sure. Do whatever you like.
Kyoko took the bottle from Byakuya and scraped it a bit of the contents with one finger. She touched her fingers to her tongue.
It's protein powder.
Correct. That wasn't poison in the bottle, but harmless protein powder. Which makes one wonder, the poison that should have been in that bottle, where did it go?
The bottle of poison was actually filled with protein powder. Which would mean that conversely the poison must have been in... Could it be? Okay. Her protein drink.
Now I understand. The poison must have been poured into the protein can. If the protein's in the poison bottle, it seems only logical to assume the reverse is true, right?
Sorry for the rustling. There you go.
Absolutely. The contents of each container were switched. So the protein was in the bottle of poison, and the poison was in the protein can.
Oh god, never mind. I'll leave it to that.
Once you accept that, it becomes obvious how the culprit was able to get Sakura to
Thank
drink
you,
the
Sophie.
poison.
Holy crap!
All they had to do was hand her something there at the scene, and she was happy to drink the poison herself.
Something at the scene. A Monokuma bottle, a cup filled with water, and a protein drink. Protein drink, of course.
I got it! You're saying they gave her a protein drink, right?
Mm-hmm.
A protein drink which actually contained a deadly poison.
What?
That's all it took to kill Sakura. That is the true cause of death.
You know, I do remember Ogre saying that protein stuff was good for all kinds of aches and pains.
I'm ignoring
So
you.
maybe she took it to try and help with the whole bleeding head wound thing.
But what was offered to her instead was a bottle full of poison. And I already know exactly who swapped the mixtures.
Oh snap.
Real? Who was it?
Evidence revealing who replaced the two materials was left in the chem lab for anyone to see.
The evidence that shows him this, the evidence that shows he switched them, it must be what we find in front of the shelf. Yeah, the footprints, right? Either that or the broken bottle.
The footprints left behind in front of the
I
shelf.
think this is one.
That's the evidence you're talking about, isn't it?
Yep.
I visited the chem lab this morning, and there were definitely no footprints there at that point. They must have appeared around the time of the murder, which leaves no doubt that they're connected.
Mm-hmm.
What's more, the footprints were in front of Section A, where I found the bottle meant for the poison.
Right.
The culprit must have gone to Section A to swap the poison and protein, leaving their footprints behind. And given how clear the prints were, figuring out who they belong to will pose no problem. All we have to do is check everyone's footprints right now. Then we'll see who...
It was me. The footprints. They're mine.
Hina?
If you're all gonna find out anyway, I'd rather you hear it straight from me, you know?
Then Ogre's killer was...
Yep. I did it. I killed Sakura.
What?
Just as I suspected. The footprints were made by a pair of sneakers. There was no mistaking it. And the only people here who wear sneakers are...
Because the only people who sneakers here are me and Hina. Because he asked me, didn't he?
I got it! Me and Hina are the only ones. Oh, so Byakuya. That explains why you...
Mm-hmm. Why you checked my footprints? Right guys, I'm gonna be 2 seconds. I need to nip to the loo, so BRB. There you go. There you go. Okay then, let me see your... Hi everyone, I'm back. I started talking before I muted myself, as usual. Pro streamer right here. Okay then, let me see your shoes and I'll confirm their size myself.
If the footprints didn't belong to Makoto, that
Thank
left
you,
only
Sophie.
one other possibility.
Just Hina.
Hope you're doing okay. Hope you guys are all enjoying this.
Plus, Hina's been acting strange ever since the trial began. You were in an awful rush to get to the vote, weren't you? This whole time, you've been focused on pinning the crime on someone else, haven't you?
I can't believe it.
What about it can't you believe?
They're such good friends.
Well, it's just... the two of them were so close.
That's likely exactly why it turned out this way. Because they were so close, Sakura didn't think twice about it when Hina handed her the concoction. Hina used that trust to kill her. She deceived the victim, and she tried to deceive all of us. I have to say, Hina, coming from you, this was a particularly nasty little scheme.
Hina, is it true? Did you really kill Sakura? And if you did, Why? Why would you do that?
I found her. There in the rec room. She was hurt. She asked me to bring her that protein drink. But when I went to get the powder from the chem lab, it just occurred to me all of a sudden.
Now's my chance to kill her. That's what you thought, right?
I don't know.
That's when you switched out the protein powder, and that's when you gave her the poisoned mixture.
And then she downed it all at once. And then
Hold it. I'm not convinced.
You're not about to claim she wouldn't kill a close friend, are you? You still don't get it, do you? The game we're playing here isn't so kind. Honeyed words like friendship don't matter here. What matters is outwitting the opponent, defeating them. Not a person alive would sacrifice themselves for another. In the end, we're all in it for ourselves, just like how this girl sacrificed Sakura to save herself.
You say that, but I'm still not convinced.
How many times do you plan to repeat yourself?
Don't misunderstand me. I'm not saying it because of some misguided sentimentalism, but there's still that one unsolved mystery, and I'm not convinced.
Are you talking about the locked room problem?
Hina, if you really are the killer, explain it. How did you create that locked room?
well, that doesn't matter. Just because I'm guilty, that means I have to tell you everything?
No, it doesn't. But the fact that you won't tell us concerns me.
Surely you're not... Do you honestly think Hina didn't actually kill her?
And if I do?
Impossible. She switched out the mixtures. She's the culprit. There's no way you can doubt this.
Are you sure about that? Even ignoring the fact that I don't want to believe it, it just doesn't fit.
What doesn't fit?
I mean, why would someone leave such a clear clue like a footprint? It's too obvious, too easy.
He's right. It makes it look like you wanted people to suspect you.
I was just nervous. So, I didn't notice I'd left a footprint.
You didn't notice?
Yeah.
Listen, Hina. Could you go into a bit more detail? Tell us more about when you switched the poison.
How come? That doesn't matter.
Hina, please, I'd like to know too.
Well, it does matter because I would like to not die.
Fine.
Waste your time if you like. It's clear that Hina is the culprit.
I mean, she could be, but is she?
There's nobody else to suspect. Nobody else could have possibly done it.
You sure about that?
Go ahead, Hina. Start from the moment you arrived at the chem lab.
Well, right away I went to Section C and got the poison.
Nope.
And is that when you spilled the powder in
Maybe?
front of that part of the shelf?
I don't know.
Yeah. When I opened
She
the
doesn't seem
bottle,
so sure of her
I dropped
story.
it like an idiot.
I see. Okay then, go on.
So then I moved to Section A and got the protein powder. And that's where I switched them.
That's true.
Once I was done with that, I took the protein can that had the poison in it and left the room. But
Okay.
I accidentally put the bottle filled with protein powder back on the wrong shelf. And because of that, everything I did got found out. And that's it.
That story you just told. First you went to Section C to get the poison. Then moved to Section A to get the protein, right? Meaning you went from Section C to Section A. Do I have that correct?
Yeah.
But if that's true, isn't that a little strange?
Can you repeat that series of events one more time?
Yeah, exactly.
What's wrong with you, Big Mac? You're being awfully pushy.
It's the same thing no matter how many times you hear it. How long until you're satisfied?
How long? Until I figure it out. Until I uncover the full truth of this case.
First, I went to section C.
Mm-hmm.
That's when I grabbed the poison.
Right.
And you spilled some of the powder on the ground in front of the shelf.
Yeah. When I grabbed the bottle, I dropped it.
Okay, and then?
I moved from section C to section A. And that's where I switched the powders. Once I was done switching them, I put the bottle filled with the protein powder back in section A. Then I took the bottle with the poison in it and left the chem lab. That's all there is to it.
Honestly, that's enough. How much longer must we tolerate this?
Okie dokie, in the chem lab, where were the footprints and what direction were they facing? Those facts clearly contradict what Hina just told us. Okay, chem
First,
lab
I went
shelf.
to section C.
Right, chem lab shelf, here we go. On the shelf in the chem lab, section A contains supplements, section B contains reagents, and section C contains harmful chemicals. A bottle of poison labelled as section C had been placed in section A of the shelf. That's that one. Source of the powder. There was a broken bottle in front of the chem lab shelf which was labelled Chem C4. The powder on the floor is assumed to have come from this. According to Byakuya, the powder would have had to be spilled after the incident took place. Someone had left footprints in the powder spilled in the chem lab. These footprints appeared only near the leftmost section of the shelf. From this, it can be assumed that the suspect only had business in this area. Do you think it's source of the powder? I think it's source of the powder.
That's when I grabbed the poison.
Mm-hmm.
And you spilled some of the powder on the ground in front of the shelf.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. When I grabbed the bottle, I dropped it.
Okay, and then?
Is it
I
the
moved from
footprints?
section C to section A.
Hmm.
That's where I switched the powders.
Could be.
Once I was done switching them, I put the bottle filled with the protein powder back in section A. Then I took the bottle and left the... That's all there is.
So it's gonna be from section A to section C, isn't it? Or C to section A. In the footprints one, I think so. Let's see, here we
First I
go.
went to... That's when I grabbed the poison.
And you spilled some of the powder on the ground.
Yeah. When I grabbed it,
Okay, and then?
I moved from section C to section
No,
A.
I don't want to do that.
That's where
Oh
I
my
switched
bollocks.
the powders. Once I was done I put the bottle filled, then I took the bottle and left the... That's all there is.
Honestly, that's enough. How much longer must we tolerate this?
Shut up, Chipmunk Byakuya.
First I went to... That's when I grabbed the... And you spilled some of the... Yeah.
Okay, and
I
then?
moved from section C.
No, it's wrong.
Because if she spilt the powder and
You
then
said you
moved
want
from
to get the
section C
poison
to
from
section
section
A,
C.
she would have
And
left
that's where you
footprints
spilled the powder,
in
right?
section C to section A.
Yeah? What about it?
And after that, you said you moved from section C to section A to get the protein. But the footprints left at the scene were not moving from section C to section A. That contradicts what you just said.
Then maybe she moved in some weird direction on purpose to disguise her movements?
No, that can't be it. Remember what Hina just said?
I was just nervous, I didn't notice I'd left the footprint. Oh dear, she's telling Porky Pies.
Hina, what's the meaning of this?
Well,
You lied to us. Plain and simple.
Oh
If you
yeah.
look at the footprints, your movements in the chem lab are obvious.
So why are you lying, girl?
The powder had already been spilled when you came in, and you went straight to section A. So you never went to section C. Whatever you did there, it only involved Section A.
Well, you see...
What the hell? What's going on here?
And the footprints aren't the only problem with her account. Before I explain that part, I'd like to submit some new evidence.
Okay.
New evidence? Impossible, there can't be.
Haha, Byakuya just hates the fact that somebody else is smarter than
Are
him.
you sure? After all, you're the one that gave it to me.
Look at that look on her face. She's like, "Oh yeah, bitch, I got you cornered."
I did?
Not so smug now, are you?
It was hidden inside the bottle of poison you gave me. I'm amazed you, of all people, would miss such a vital clue. A truly grave oversight.
I love that face of hers. It's just perfect. He's raging. He is not amused.
Just say it already! What is it you think you found?
I found this. It had sunk to the bottom of the bottle,
Yeah, how could you not see that?
and the hidden clue was exposed, thanks to you ingesting the powder. I couldn't have solved the mystery without you. So, thank you for that.
But what
He's
is
gonna
it?
be pissed.
Oh, you still don't realize? Well then.
Lone, your waifu's wrecking everybody.
Makoto, why don't you explain it?
Yeah, girl. Oh, poor Byakuya. Oh, what a shame. It's so sad.
Huh? Me?
Fine. If you really do know, explain the meaning of that shard of glass.
The shard of light blue glass Kyoko found in the bottle of poison. I think I remember now. I broke something the same shade of blue. The window.
My God! It's part of the window from the rec room door, right?
Mm-hmm.
The window?
The window we broke to get in was light blue, just
Finish
like
him.
that. So I think that must be it.
You're right. It must be. Of course, that leads to another question. How did a shard of glass from the window get inside this bottle of poison?
What's so strange about that?
What's strange is that, according to what Hina told us,
Where was it the bottle of poison should have been when I broke the rec room window? According to what Hina told us, it wasn't the locker. The poison should have been on A, wasn't it?
shoot,
Darn it! I knew I should have picked A. Yeah.
the bottle of poison was left on the shelf in the chem lab.
I don't know why I'm doing this to myself. I know what to do, and I don't know. Anyway, doesn't matter.
And yet, somehow a piece of glass from the rec room window made its way into the bottle.
Everything Hina told us was a lie?
In reality, that bottle of poison most definitely found its way to the rec room. It was there at least until the window got broken. In other words, when the locked room was unlocked. There's no other way to explain the presence of that glass in that bottle.
And then, once the room was opened, the bottle somehow got moved back to the shelf in the chem lab. Meanwhile, the protein can we found at the crime scene was planted there.
And if I'm correct, I think, Sophie, you mentioned that earlier in the
That
investigation.
had to be after the locked room was opened. In other words, after Sakura died.
Wait, hold on. You're moving too fast. I'll grant you, the bottle of poison may well have been in the rec room when it was locked, but how can you say the protein can was put there after the room was unlocked? We already know she was given the protein can with the poison inside, right? If that can wasn't there when she died, how did she get poisoned?
You're right. We do need to explain that. But before we do, there's something I'd like to confirm with everyone here. It has to do with the protein can. After Sakura's body was discovered, did anyone move it or trip over it or anything like that?
What are you talking about? Is this some kind of loaded question?
Not at all. Just answer to the best of your ability.
In other words, get wrecked, Byakuya.
Well, no, not that I remember.
I don't think Byakuya needs any help from anybody else. He does it all by himself.
Yeah, me either.
Not me.
Same here. Yeah, me either.
Okay then, that settles it. That proves that the protein can found its way to the murder scene after the room was opened.
Oh, come on! How can you say that? How can you know what I don't know?
He can't handle it. He just can't handle being wrong. The reason she can say that is because there's evidence. There's proof that someone brought the protein can to the rec room after it was opened.